Now here's what this would look like in a classroom. You might actually have this sentence with fill in the blanks posted in your room that you can fill out if that helps you kind of think about the pieces of a task that you want to make sure students have. But the goal here is that we give them a purpose and also give them a process to support their motivation to do it and their motivation to persist if there is difficulty, and also to support their comprehension because they have a way of accomplishing that process, so that purpose. So not just assuming they know how to find that information, giving them a hint about how they might find that information. And if they're not looking for information, they're looking just for an enjoyable reading experience, that can be a purpose too. And there are strategies and practices that we have as readers that help us do that, and we can give kids hints about those. So if somebody walked into your classroom, instead of hearing you say something like, turn to page 7, you have 15 minutes, we would hear you say a little bit more than that. Turn to page 7 in order to find or think about something by, and you would be giving a suggestion of how you might do that. Now, teachers often wonder, how do I come up with that suggestion if that's not something you're used to doing over and over again? And there's like 2 quick ways to think about this. The first is we want it to actually be an authentic thing that you would do as a reader. So you can ask yourself what you do, or if you don't feel yourself doing anything, would you do it? So think about strategies you've seen people use as readers, whether it's something that they write as they are reading, something that they ask themselves as they're reading, a way that they use their visualization or make connections as they go. Whatever you want the process to be, would you do it? And if the answer is yes, then that's a good process to suggest to children. If the answer is no, I would never do that as a reader, it would slow me down, it would be boring, it would have nothing to do with my purpose for reading, then it's not a good process to share. So the next question to ask yourself is, does it match the process? Does it match the purpose? The reason we have to be careful about that is that there's a big danger of using strategies just to use strategies. So sometimes we teach students to visualize while they read and then ask them to visualize all the time for all purposes. And visualizing isn't always what gets you to the purpose that you have in mind for that task. So just because you have a strategy doesn't mean you have to use it every single time. The idea is that we would be supporting readers in figuring out which strategies match their purposes, which is why we want all of their teachers to be explaining different processes for getting places. And so they have lots of examples of different possible processes that they could use as readers. So does it match the purpose? If I engaged in this process, if I asked myself that question, if I kept track of these things in the margin, would I logically match my purpose? If you answer yes, then it's a really good process. If you're not sure, then you can ask somebody else to read the text who's not familiar with it and ask them what they're doing, because they're more likely to be aware of their process if it's not super second nature to them. But essentially you're looking for, what would an adult or sophisticated or already expert reader do, and can I invite students to do the same thing? So you want to check with yourself, is it something I would do, and is it likely to lead to meeting my purpose? And then you know you have a good process.